All right, let's spice things up a little bit. Wife and I actually earlier on were watching this show, but I guess this let's talk about this. I'm gonna play this video, Honest Bunch podcast, right? I'm gonna play this video and then I want to hear your opinions on it. Let's get it. Let's see.
Oh, see what a sex toy can do, what a good vibrator can do. I don't know one man that can do that job.
True that.
And that is just fact. You see that rhythm, that consistency that the vibrator has. No man can wiggle his tongue consistently like that. So sometimes, when you're doing it with a man, he's getting the rhythm, and then he changes something. I'm like, oh my goodness, out of my face.
If your partner is giving you normal one and you have been taking it for years, and then vibrator just comes like this,
And your legs begin to shake like small generator.
and takes you there in 3 seconds. What are you doing with man again?
Yeah, I know one thing though. See what a sex toy can do, what a good vibrator can do. I don't know one man that can do that job.
True that.
All right, that's enough. I want to hear your opinions on this. Okay, a couple of questions I have. Okay, around. Wait, what did I miss? I want your opinions on this. Sex toys. Let's talk about sex toys, right? What's your take on it? How do you feel about sex toys, especially in marriage? Okay. But I've been alpha, right? What do you think about sex toys in marriage? Is this something you subscribe to? Or is this something that you say, be careful? Or is something you say, absolutely, we must bring it in? So if you say, absolutely sex toys, put a 1 in the chat. If you say, it depends, you have to be careful, put a 2 in the chat. If you say, oh, no, that's not for me, put a 3 in the chat. I want to know your opinions on this because this is a conversation that we need to start having right now, okay? And what I've noticed when people are talking about this is that people fall on different parts of the equation, right? In terms of opinions, right? From the look of things, it looks like women in general are absolutely for it, okay? All right? It looks like women in general are absolutely for it. In terms of men, it's like 50-50. That's just what I've noticed. I could be wrong, but let me know what you've noticed too. What I've noticed that men 50-50. Some like no, some like yes. Women like a lot of women are just. It's either they don't say anything, they don't have an opinion, or they're all for it, right? But their facial expression, you can always tell that maybe she doesn't mind. Okay. So that's one aspect of thing. I didn't get the. Let me get you 1 if you say absolutely. 3 if you say no. And 2 if you think like I guess let me see here. T Love is saying 2. Apparently she's saying whatever the couple agrees on. No. We're talking about influence right now. Of course I agree with that, right? But we're talking about this is social media now, and people are talking about this. So people are influencing each other. People are having a word about they're saying these things, right? So if we say absolutely, there's some benefits, right? But we know that there's risk, right? If you say no, there are benefits, but we also know that there are risks, right? And we should spell. And then if you say 2, you're in the middle, like for example, whatever the couple agrees, right? You're basically saying that's the ideal answer, right? But we know that people are going to influence each other, and some people are going to listen to this kind of shows on social media, and then they come home and they say, well, why don't we try this? And then the husband's like, try it. Are you mad? Am I not enough for you? Right? Or they may never say it out, but they start to feel some type of way, like, what is this woman been listening to? What have you been doing with your life? A nursing degree we told you to get, you didn't get the nursing degree. You are here talking about sex toys. Is that what your mates are doing? Right? And now the conversation is discombobulated, right? So let's have the conversation. Let's balance all the balances. Risk and benefit of absolutes. Risk and benefit of no, don't do it. No, yes, absolutely, absolutely yes, absolutely no, right? And then the indifference. The indifference would be ideal. That would be beautiful. That means if my husband comes home and He said they were trying, hanging off the ceilings. It's cool, sure, as long as we both agree. Well, we don't both agree, right? Which is usually the case. There's some kind of difference, right? Or differences in terms of these things, right? And that's why I'm asking the question, So what do you think? I'm going to play the video again so you can hear it. Let's see what they say.
See what a toy can do, what a good vibrator can do. I don't know one man that can do that job.
True that.
And that is just fact. You see that rhythm, that consistency that the vibrator has. No man can wiggle his tongue consistently like that. So sometimes, when you're doing it with a man, he's getting the rhythm, and then he changes something. I'm like, oh my goodness, out of my face.
If your partner is giving you normal one and you have been taking it for years, and then vibrator just comes like this,
And your legs begin to shake like small generator.
and takes you there in 3 seconds. What are you doing with man again?
Yeah, I know one.
She said, what are you doing with man again? Who be Juju be that one? What are you doing with man again? Right? Really? Like toys can replace a whole man? Is that how that works? Is that how that works now these days? This is why some people about 5 years ago will say, don't try it, because now you're getting numb. A man cannot satisfy you anymore.
Not be juju be that.
All right, let me see. Let's see. Let me come to the chat. So sorry about that. Mr. Man, MOP. I can see you've chosen violence tonight. Sex toys, okay. It's not me. That's what they're talking about. That was trending today, right? So people are talking about it. For how long are we going to shy away from these topics, right? Tilo says 2. Okay, so you're in the middle. Okay, 2 then. What is it used for? If it's used to enhance the sex life, then sure. But it shouldn't replace the person, because that has posed another question. Is there a potential? Is there a possibility that if you use it to a certain extent, it can replace your partner? Is that even possible? Ladies, tell me, because it seems like now they promote this thing more. Because like I said, what I've noticed that about 50% of men are even like why, right? Right? So is it possible that this can absolutely, directly or indirectly, eventually replace your partner? Maybe you don't need it. You just need to knock one off. You just pull out the gadget. You take care of yourself. Like she says, you're good to go. And then before you know it, the person cannot meet your need. Is this a possibility? Right? And that's what we're talking about. Maria says, hey Marriott, how are you? Says, enough with pumps that are not shaking the table. Not in 2023. Women don't want to fake anymore. Jesus Christ.
Oh my days.
What is the percentage of people or pumps that are not shaking the table, in your opinion? What's the percentage? Well, one thing we know is that a lot of women are not sexually satisfied. We know that. Can we spell that out? Can we say that? Okay, that's the consensus we're getting across the board. All right, that's even the more reasons why we can't shy away from these conversations, right? Anyway, according to studies, it causes issues because it shifts the person. It shifts the person. Okay. The idea is to shift pattern, not to shift the person. So it's shifting persons. All right. Which kind clip be this gun self? Who vibrator help? You're a man, so you probably wouldn't know, right? Say as men, we don't have these issues, right? We don't need let me even shock you, okay? Let me shock you. A lot of men don't even need to be attracted to you before they can knock one off. All right? They don't, before they can take care of themselves and like, okay, I'm good for the next 1 week. A lot of men don't even need to be attracted, right? A lot of men will be okay with you, face the wall. All right? Let me do what I got to do and then we're out. Consensual, of course. Okay? Consensual, of course. Right? But for women, it's a little bit of a different story. And I'm not talking about sex workers, okay? All right, I'm not talking about the exceptions. For a typical woman, they kind of need connection, right? All right, which is why it's just different, right? And generally speaking, of course. Most likely, I'm speaking as a person that is not a consumer. How would you know? How are we going to verify now? Eh? What's with the explanation?
You go explain because no evidence.
Yeah. Who asked you T-Love? Wait, but Ben, so vibration provide temporary satisfaction at the end. Man. Okay, but Ben, are you okay with bringing this into a marriage? Bringing sex toys into a marriage? Are you all right with that? Or Maria says, I will make up a number based on the women I've spoke to. 95% are receiving pumps that does not shake the table. Tampering with our self-esteem here. Jesus Christ. Most women have never experienced the big orgasm. Wow. Yeah, we've seen that over and over again. There's many studies that have revealed that. That's why we need to keep having this conversation. Okay. Some look scary too. Huge like a harm. I think from what I've noticed, most women don't want the baby leg. Speaking of baby leg, oh my God, this nigga right here, I'm done. Oh Lord, right. Let me see if I can find that. Oh God. Speaking of baby leg, this will be a perfect time. Hold on 1 second. Pardon me for a second there. You guys know what baby leg is, right? Oh Lord, let me see if this is doable. Can I do this? It's still loading. I'm not sure. Hold on 1 second. Not too far now. How you doing? All right, we'll come back to that. All right, cool. Just wanted to get that ready. It shouldn't replace Sha. Machine is not a human. Yeah, but it shouldn't replace. Is it possible that it can replace? Right? Can you enjoy it so much that you get to a point that it's shifted you, like you said, like studies, right? And is that a possibility? Is that something that some people are experiencing, right? Not too far either. Braben said, bring sex toy to a marriage is the end of the road for me. Oh. Hey, Braben. Ha! You said that publicly. You said that publicly, Braben. Hey. All right, let's keep going. I'll just leave it at that for now, okay? If these things are the revolution that we look forward to, then relationships, marriage will be a relic of the past. Men will get with their sex dolls and ladies will replace men with a vibrator. Is this what we all really want? I mean, people want what they want, man. People want orgasms. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, people want... the women want orgasm too, right? Women want to come. How do we solve this issue right now? Okay? This is the reality you're faced with. Right? So let me flip that question at the end. Do you really want a woman who is not satisfied in bed? Right? Is that really what we want? A bunch of women that are not satisfied. It's been like that we had peace. But now, these women are 30% of paternity tests in Nigeria, they come back negative. What percentage of that do you think is women who just cheated because they were not satisfied at home? Right? Now, the other question is that, do you need sex toys to satisfy? That's the other part of the question. All right? That we can say yes, no, maybe, indifferent to. We can also discuss that part, right? Yeah, already population is reducing certain parts of the world. Ouch. If we actually think that dolls and toys can replace another human being, well, we don't think. Is it possible that, let me tell you something. Let me give you a flip side of it. Porn, right? Let me say corn. Let's replace it with a C, right? Corn is replacing some wives. Are you aware of that? Some men are addicted to corn that's replaced their wife. How? Well, it's from micro to macro. Like eventually the wife might have to be removed, right? But for the majority of the situation, the wife stays there. It's just that the intimacy gets dried up because she could never satisfy what the simulation, right, of multiple women who can hang up the ceilings, different angle and stuff, right? She could never satisfy that. So for some people that are dealing with addiction to porn, right, that is the real thing. Should it happen? That's fantasy. Should it, coulda, woulda, I don't know. The reality is that it's happening, right? So let's talk about it. It could replace, yes. So communication should come in. People should not die in silence. Absolutely, especially if we're talking about marriage. At some point you have to talk about it. You have to have a conversation, and please don't have the conversation when you're about to do the deuce and when Konji don't catch you finish at night. That's too late at that point in time. It's gonna come off all wrong and not authentic, right? Because nobody wants to be taken advantage of, right? It's like, okay, now you come, you want to have conversation, right? And that's anti-seductive as well. Let's see. Any man who can satisfy their woman should come learn woko. But I mean, you're on to something today. We go show them way. It's not by power. Okay, I go leave you. Like I don't say, I go leave you alone. Okay. I think that a man can learn to satisfy his wife by them effectively communicating and having the collective focus of satisfying her and him. I love it. I love that. I love that you included her and him, right? Because there's no satisfying the other person without satisfying you, but you have to lead. You have to direct your energy to lead in a certain direction, right? So you can get what you want, right? But we never forget that you want something too. But we also understand that some things have to go before the other so we can have an overall good experience, right? So in my personal opinion, right, if you are frowning at sex toys, if you're frowning at it, it's an indication of many other things. Now, the one formula in all of this is that both people must be on the same page, okay? Now, that's a very tricky thing. If both people are on the same page, if I know want toy, if both of you, if you figure it out and it's accurate that both of you don't want it, we have nothing to worry about. Problem solved, right? If both of you want to use enhancement, not to enhance the persons, but to enhance the experience, if both of you are okay with that, problem solved, right? The issues come when one person wants and the other person is completely dismissive about it. Not even not want. If one person wants, the other person doesn't want, if they communicate, they can still sort out some kind of middle ground. But when one person wants and the other person is completely dismissive about it, which is what's happening for the most part, then we got a problem. Active problem, okay? That can absolutely destroy your intimacy with your partner. Okay? Then we got a problem, right? So, and when it comes to communication about this, again, the idea, like Gracious Greatness said, is to find out what the other person wants, what they like, right? If you take care of them, they tend to be open to taking care of you. I said tend to because there's no guarantee in life, right? But most people have not even tried before they conclude, before they become dismissive, right? If you take care of them, they tend to be open to taking care of you, right? So what would be what's the best way to move about this? If you want to be taken care of, you take care of people. There's this guy, what's his name? I forgot his name now. He has a saying, okay? right? All you have to do is help more people get what they want, and you will get everything you want, right? The scriptures talk about seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else shall be added unto it. Most people are thinking about a planet called heaven of God somewhere when they think that, right? That's what they're thinking about. But honestly, that principle applies everywhere. There's some things that you just take care of first, and everything else will be taken care of, right? It's a downstream effect, right? Just help more people get what they want, and you get everything you want. Well, in this case, your wife, your husband, help them get what they want, right? And you also be added onto it. I'll tell you what about sex toys. A lot of people are trying to use it as absolute solution. It is not, okay? If anything, it gets worse. It gets worse. If anything, it just gets worse. And it gets worse in terms of overall experience, right? Because eventually, if you're taking care of your own congee by yourself, right? You're taking care of yourself, vibrators, like she said, right? Eventually, that gets worse. Just like you got tired, just like see finish enter that person where they give you like what you enjoy at one point, right? And now it's not, the pump is not shaking the table enough. Eventually, too, you will now need to look for bigger and bigger or more, faster and faster. You're never satisfied. Why? Because your satisfaction is coming from the outside, and that's a problem. Okay, but let me read some of your chats before we continue here. If you're a woman and you are sexual active, Biko, leave that man. What is life without coming? If I were a woman, I would think that way. I'm not a woman, but it makes sense not to. It makes complete sense. Hausa women left the communication table. They did. Let's see here. I think it would be unwise to try to satiate all fantasies that we have in life. Absolutely, and this is true for any other concept out there, right? If you need outside elements and factors to really be satisfied in life, you will struggle till death, literally. If you don't understand that the best, the highest quality of satisfaction and fulfillment in life has to come from the inside. Now, enhancement, influencers, like influential things on the outside can help, right? But at the core of it, you want to make sure it's coming from the inside. This is why even a lot of sex parts people, when they get too obsessed with the conversation about sex, are like, relax. If this person cannot find fulfillment from inside, taking care of themselves, learning how their body works, right? They're probably going to struggle anyway. They will continue to look for bigger and better and faster and vibrators. They're still not satisfied, and it gets worse. Eventually, they might think they need another man to take care of that part, right? It just gets worse. So, absolutely, I agree that it's not wise to have to take, like, every fantasy must be fulfilled. Like, at some point, you have to bring structure into your life. You should be busy with purpose, and, you should find a way to balance that with fantasy. That's why we're in this problem in the first place. I remember seeing a lady shove a giant Coca-Cola bottle down. Jesus Christ. Jesus Obai. Hey! Ha!
How, Sway?
Gluttony, excessive consumption of things, and debauchery, not big problem. Now, I'll tell you what. Let me push against you a little bit. Gluttony and excessive consumption of your own idea of sexual experience, yes, that can destroy everything too. So it's about a balance, right? It's about balance. Like if we bring it down to, hey, I'm here to take care of my partner's needs, right? I'm here to make sure you feel fulfilled, right? Sexually, right? Like, you're gonna be all right. Like just that attitude enough can make a woman come, right? Even before you, just the fact that she knows that, and vice versa, by the way, but especially women, because we bring the structure, we bring the seeds, right? And she multiplies it, right, into an experience, right? So if you lead with that type of attitude already, right? But some people have gluttony and excessive consumption of what they consider to be normal, right? Or what it was supposed to be. The reality is that you cannot put human beings in a box, right? But I agree on the other side that if you move too fast, if you run too fast on that runway, you will crash. You will go up fast and crash and burn. And that's like anything else in life, So it's more of an art. In fact, Nedu said that on the show today, and I was like, Nedu said something awesome. It's more of an art than it's an exact science, right? A lot of it still comes down to active listening. I would replace communication with active listening. Like, see what your partner loves, because that's why you were there in the first place, to help them feel fulfilled, right? And in that process, you can feel fulfilled, right? Let's see here. That example is too trivialized a serious issue. Women are not there to pleasure only. Wahala. Let's see. It's just like a drug addiction. We'll always need bigger and bigger and more. You just have to be careful with that. It's the same thing with the corn addiction. It's the same thing with any other form of addiction in life, right? But when you are doing this thing within a controlled environment, meaning both of you, it starts with both of you being on the same page, right? And being on the same page is a moving target. So the idea that worked yesterday may not work for your wife tomorrow, right? You have to be open to that. You have to be open. Right? Being open doesn't mean you have to do everything. This is the mistake that a lot of people make. Being open to the conversation doesn't mean you have to do. Just being open can get her wet and come before you even touch her, and then that makes everything else easier, right? But a lot of people are just dismissive before they even have the conversation, right? It's the same thing where we talk about, she says there's a problem at work today, and you're very quick to say, why did you do this way, do this way, and then problem solved, right? And she's like, no, I don't want the problem solved. I want you to hear me out. I want you to listen to me. There's the same issues across the board. It's just depending on, are you patient enough to walk through it, right? So, and if somebody brings up sex toys and you're like, who taught you that? Let me smell your part. Right? If you do things like that, like, okay, I'm exaggerating, but you're dismissive about it, is my point, right? If you do things like that, she will shut down. She won't feel safe enough to bring something else up because they don't know how you're going to react. And yes, she might look for that satisfaction in other places. Okay, if your woman brings sex and says, let's try this, baba, relax, use it on her. It's not that deep. Okay, funny thing is that you don't have to do it that deep, right? Just the fact that you're open, right? She might even throw that thing to the side eventually, right? And show you shiggy, that shiggy that you've been looking for, if you just keep an open mind at the end of the day. But what I found is that a lot of men are just completely close-minded to it, and yes, sexually frustrated woman in 2023 is not the same thing as sexually frustrated woman in 1960. The sexually frustrated woman in 1960, it's like, it is what it is. We're just here to have babies anyway. Like, it's a social construct. So they tend to be okay. Some of them still go next door and sleep with your father's uncle, your great-grandfather's uncle, right? You just never heard it on. There was no social media. But today, things are different. All I'm asking you is keep an open mind. You don't have to be so dismissive about everything for the most part, okay? And most people don't care for it, okay? And most women don't use big bola, baby leg vibrators either. They don't care for that. They just need some kind of stimulation. The same reason why people smoke cigarettes, okay, or drink Coke instead of water, right? Eventually they say it's too much, I go back to water, right? See, it's a moving thing, right? But if you take it so seriously, you overreact, and then you push them even further right? Just keep an open mind when you're having these conversations. That's all I'm saying. That's not how vibrators work. You can't break your pum pum. Stop for 3 days and the nerve endings go back to normal. Oh, yeah. In fact, everything I'm saying is mostly mentally, not even any of the physical stuff. It's just mentally, okay? Because like you said, things go back to normal. If you just calm down, you don't overreact. Things, come back to their equilibrium, right? But if you are going to overreact across the board in any direction, then you can push it. You can help it push it that further, right? In the wrong direction. So mentally, that's all I can share with you when it comes to mental stimulation for sex. That's all I can talk about. In terms of the gadgets and all, I can't speak too much to that because we generally don't need much. For me and my wife, I'm being honest with you, okay? All right. And it goes a long way, and I will attribute that to just understanding the mental part of things, right? Let's see here. Life with Natu says the reason why I won't buy sex toys ideology is because I want to feel needed, and I want to need my husband when congi start. I don't want options. Okay, that's a good one. As long as both of you are on the same page. If you're the woman saying this, you probably don't have any problem. Okay, you probably don't have to worry about anything. What do I miss? Baba. Let me see. I'm coming to the chat. MOP, did you just say men should support sex toys? Now, she keep an open mind. You know, she probably doesn't want the sex toys. She's missing something. The big O, it's not happening. If your woman brings up sex toys, it's not hitting it. Keep an open mind for the conversation. Don't be dismissive, because she will do more than sex toys. She might even bring a sex doll home. Right? If you are close-minded when it comes to this. Again, most of these issues is never really the main issue. The main issue is that somebody is not feeling fulfilled, and you have to really practice keeping an open mind when you're having those conversations. And if it comes to like, yeah, but it doesn't hurt, like, keep an open mind. Baba, let her use it on herself. Help her use it on herself. And then finish it. Okay? Finish it. That's all. Again, this is only applicable if your woman is asking for it. If your woman know they ask for it, why do you worry? Don't worry about it. Don't worry now. But if she's asking, there's a reason. And that's the part that we will not be, that's the part that we're not going to cap about. If she's asking for sex toys, right? If you say, no, we cannot bring sex toys into this house.
Stop the cap.
Baba, it's too late. She's already using it. You get the point? She just tried to invite you to the party. You're missing the point. Okay? She's still trying to invite you to the party. You're dismissive. It's going to get worse. All right. Let's see. I wasn't intending to trivialize. Sorry, the same said for women. That's why the 4 children everywhere. Nick, wahala. I'm trivializing all day long. We need to have fun with these conversations so that we can finally get to somewhere with these conversations, right? Everybody's all serious, but they're struggling. So trivialize as long as it's not offensive. So we need to find the balance there. Please don't buy idea. Body touch body is the best ever. Mr. Ola, the other aid is penetration doesn't work for many women. Yes, I've seen those studies over and over again. And guess what worked for us the most part? Penetration. We can't wait. Okay, so this is one of the reasons that many marriages struggle, but no one is talking about it. You know, it's just it's a very tricky thing for many people. So, but then the issues are not the issue. What you think the issues are not the issue. The issue now is you have an active conflict now that is not being addressed, right? And somehow that's going to disappear. You can push it under the rug. For where? That issue that your problem, it will stay there. It will get bigger and bigger. Next time you try to bring it to try to come to the surface, it will now be bigger. That's all I'm saying. All right. And the women and the men don't want to learn. The toys are an easy fix, and women don't mind you penetrating all you want once she's taken care of. She can't actually wait. Okay, but if that's all you do and it's not working, it's not working. Okay, now she will go and try to use it behind you, right? And it's still weird because somehow, you know, mentally she's like, you're dismissive. So, but I don't support this line of reasoning at all. I understand now. Although it's far. I understand, bro. I understand. Those are excessive people. Most women are using it with their partners and themselves seldomly. Yeah, I agree with the seldomly. At least it's not that, like, it's a lot of people assume, because again, they are afraid, like, this bola will take my space. No, it won't. Relax. Okay? There's nothing like the warmth of a human body, especially, okay, when people are on the same page. Okay? There's nothing can replace that. This is fear. But you know what fear does, right? It just discombobulates. This type of fear, of course, it just discombobulates things. When fear enters and you're interacting with another person, right, you will just attract the worst in that interaction, right? Because you're operating from a place of fear. But if you're confident, right, and somebody say, you don't want to try this thing, if you're confident, like, I'm being invited to a party, right, without thinking this is a DD party. You don't have to think, it's not a DD party, right? It's not a Puff Daddy party. Okay, it's just your wife asking you to be invited to a party. Right? How big of a deal can that be? She's still inviting you to a party. You want to wait until she doesn't invite you to the party anymore? Yeah. Now, if your wife has not invited to your party, there's nothing to worry about. It doesn't mean you don't have a problem, but there's nothing to worry about yet, at least, or maybe there's nothing to worry about. Then perfect. Because there's some women will argue against me now. They will say, that man is teaching them terrible things on that side. Don't go there. There's some women like that. They're traditional like that, and they're still not giving you kpekus. You ever wonder why you have to struggle every other week to get some kpekus? You never thought about it. I'll leave you to that. You can figure it out later on. Honestly, it shouldn't be a problem. Just like AI tools, all right? The sex toys can be used to enhance experiences, I guess. Not to overdo this. Again, couple discussion. It's not to overdo it. That's the idea, okay? AI does not work without the input of human beings, right? The AI is just as good as your prompts, right? Some of you that are techie, you know that. It still needs us, right? But when you have fear, you're like, my kids cannot touch the computer. Please don't buy phones for those kids. They need to be 20 years old before you buy a phone for them. The kids are going to live in this generation. You're missing the point completely. Today I had to write and fill out form. It was very weird. It was excruciating. My brain almost busted because I had to write for so long. I don't like writing. We don't live in that world anymore. But all of that's so bad. This world is becoming so bad. You should still be able to write. Baba, I don't want to write. You don't understand. I don't want to write. Yeah. Well, this world is devolving. Good for you. Congratulations. It's devolving. That's the direction that the world is going. If you don't catch up to it, you will miss out. You miss out on the experience, right? Because the world is still very good. People are still going to have sex and they will enjoy it, right? And it's going to be penetrations involved, right? But with the social construct, with things changing, you have to know how to pivot. You have to know how to adjust, right? Without mixing it together with your losing your sense of value. It doesn't have to be. I'll tell you, like right now, most people don't even have to touch that thing if you're just open-minded. You don't have to touch any toys if you're just open-minded. What probably the reason why it's not working out yet is because somebody has been close-minded. They said you should hang off the ceiling. You said, I don't want to hang off. Let them buy the ceiling fan first now. Ladies, same thing, okay? Let them buy the ceiling fan first. Don't be like, hey, you want me to hang off the ceiling of the chandelier? Hey, buy them first. I can't wait, babe, to hang off the ceiling while you're doing the needful down there.
You doing what?
It's like, freaky. Let's just go upstairs right now. We don't need chandelier, right? All I'm telling you is everybody should just relax, okay? Mr. Ben is not having all this. A damn freak of Tuesday happen. I'm a very jealous man. Please, can't share my woman with no. Oh, God bless your marriage, bro. I said it years ago. He gonna get his karma. Oh, you talk about Didi? Well, we'll get to Didi in a second. Anyway, so that's that video right there. Let me play one more time. This short clip here. Let's see.
Something, see what a sex toy can do, what a good vibrator can do. I don't know one man that can do that job.
True that.
Now, after listening to this particular girl, what's her name? Doyin, BBN's Doyin. After listening to her, if you someone on the podcast, go and listen to the podcast. I want you to this podcast. Like this girl she doesn't have much experience. Okay, she's just arguing some stuff that like this one. Who brought her here as an expert of sex? Well, anyway, a little hyper with the sex thing. Like she said, what a sex toy can do, a man. Like, let me tell you something. We're human beings. We're social beings. We're designed to connect with other human beings. The full fulfillment, satisfaction in sex will have to come from being with another human being. Okay? And if you don't understand that, you'll miss out. Okay?
That is just facts. You see that
And she called the facts.
reading, that consistency that the vibrator has. No man can wiggle his tongue consistently like that.
That's a very inaccurate comparison. A man is not designed to wiggle his tongue like a vibrator, right? The power of that human being touching you with their tongue is 10,000 times better than any 10,000 flicks of a vibrator. It's just different. It does something else different. It might be, again, all of it is mostly mental, you know. And the reason why I say we should have this conversation is because a lot of people are starting to put that toy on the pedestal, and they're going to, all of them together with the toy will fall off. It's not going to work eventually. Yeah, for a little short while, it's a short term, I guess, you know, but you will still need human being. If you're a typical human being, not every human being. If you're a typical human being, you need connection. It's a basic human need.
So sometimes, you know, when you're doing it with a man, he's getting the rhythm, and then he changes something. I'm like, oh my goodness, out of my face.
That is a good thing. If he's doing it and the rhythm is there and you thought you're about to come, right? And then he act like a human being. And like, oh, it's beautiful. You can start from scratch again and start the experience again, right? You might even be pissed off. Good. That means you were having a good time, right? Good. Let's start all over again. That's the whole point. That's why it's different than machines. That's why it's not a machine, right? But of course, a lot of people are just reading books and like, oh, it'll be sweet. And then when they now do it, they see that one will catch sea finish to it to get watered down, right? Because it's too much, right? It's too much, it's too much. There is such a thing as too much in life, right? Or too little, right? I get it. A lot of people are coming from too little, but people that come from too little, they do too much, and then they write it in a book somewhere, and somebody is fantasizing that a machine will take care of it for the rest of your life. No, it won't.
If your partner is giving you normal one and you have been taking it for years, and then vibrator just comes like this,
And your legs begin to shake like small generator.
and takes you there in 3 seconds. What are you doing with man again?
Yeah, I know one.
All right. Yeah, that's why it's a man. It's different, you know. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that today. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Exactly, winter is coming. Which machine is won by Wahala? Sex toy wear. Her man has made her come, and that's on period. Everyone these days will say, it's just fine. Even myself, I say fact. I try not to, but I say it. It's just like, when somebody say fact, just like, which part of it is fact? I beg. No, MOP, we don't like starting all over. Stop it. No, you're not supposed to admit that you like starting all over. Okay? You're not supposed to admit that, right? But, you know, the more you have to start all over, the longer the experiences, the better the experiences, you know. But I get it. Like, once in a while, you throw it in there, you make sure she finishes, right? And sometimes you're like, no, we're starting all over. Fuck that. We're starting all over, right? If you have time, okay? If you have time, why not? MOP, we have heard the end of this discussion, bro. No, not yet. If you stop commenting, I will stop. That's mechanical. Oh, we haven't. You said we haven't heard the end of this discussion. No, not yet. Hold on. We'll get to it in a second. Because vibrator go pay school fees for your pikin. Oh deep. But yes, it's a conversation that we need to start, especially for men, okay? Because what you're looking for, you're missing out. If you're close-minded about these topics, you're missing out big time. And I want to tell you that, my brothers, you're missing out big time, okay? And no, your woman is not going to become a corn star just because you're open-minded about the conversation. She's probably too busy. She won't remember to buy. But she's already asking twice. Second, she don't buy already. She's inviting you to a party and you're missing out big time. No, I don't want any part of that party. Baba, that party is getting bigger and bigger. You're outside of it. That's not what you want. Anyway, I'll yield. I'll be right back.
Beautiful girl, sparkling night, killing thing. I find it beautiful girl. It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.